Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we re-journeying to the heart of Europe to uncover the rich and often turbulent history of the Czech Republic. This isn't just a story of a country. It's a saga of kings, castles, conflicts, and incredible resilience. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into the fascinating past of Bohemia, Moravia, and Silesia, the lands that make up the modern Czech nation. Our story begins long before the Czechs even had a name. Around the 5th and 6th centuries, Slavic tribes started settling in this beautiful, rolling landscape. According to legend, a chieftain named Jack led his people to P Mountain, looked out over the fertile land, and declared it their new home. Whether it's fact or myth, it's a powerful origin story. The first real state to emerge here was the Great Moravian Empire in the 9th century. This was a pivotal moment. It was during this time that two Byzantine missionaries, Cyril and Methodius, arrived. They brought with them not just Christianity, but also the first Slavic written language, the Glagolitic script, laying the cultural and religious foundations for centuries to come. But empires rise and fall. After Great Moravia collapsed, the center of power shifted to Bohemia, and a new dynasty took the stage to Pia. This is where Prague's story truly begins. Princes like Wenceslas, the good King Wenceslas from the Christmas Carol, became patrons of the church and helped cement the region's identity. In the year 973, Prague became a bishopric, and by the 11th and 12th centuries, the rulers of Bohemia had earned the hereditary title of king from the Holy Roman Emperor, making the Kingdom of Bohemia a major player in medieval Europe. The High Middle Ages were a golden age. Under kings like Přemysl Otaka II, known as the Iron and Golden King, the kingdom expanded its territory and wealth. Then came Charles IV in the 14th century, one of the most important figures in Czech history. As both King of Bohemia and Holy Roman Emperor, he transformed Prague into a magnificent European capital. He founded Charles University, the first university in Central Europe, commissioned the iconic Charles Bridge, and began construction of the stunning St. Vitus Cathedral. Prague became a hub of art, architecture, and learning, a true jewel of the continent. But this golden age was followed by a period of intense religious turmoil. In the early 15th century, a church reformer named Jan Hus began preaching against the corruption of the Catholic Church from his pulpit in Prague. His ideas resonated deeply with the Czech people, but the church hierarchy saw him as a heretic. In 1415, he was lured to the Council of Constance with a promise of safe passage, only to be arrested and burned at the stake. His death ignited a firestorm. His followers, known as the Hussites, rose up in a series of conflicts known as the Hussite Wars. For nearly 2 decades, these Czech warriors, led by brilliant military tacticians like Jan Zík, fought off crusading armies sent by the Pope and the Holy Roman Emperor, proving to be almost invincible. It was a defining moment of Czech national pride and defiance. After the Hussite Wars, a period of relative peace followed, but the seeds of future conflict were already sown. In 1526, the Czech crown passed to the Habsburg dynasty of Austria. For the next 400 years, the Czech lands would be part of the vast, multicultural Habsburg Empire. Initially, the Habsburgs promised to respect Czech religious freedoms, but tensions grew. This culminated in 1618 with one of the most famous events in Prague's history. The Second Defenestration of Prague, a group of Protestant nobles, furious with the Catholic Habsburg officials, threw them out of a window at Prague Castle. Miraculously, they survived the fall. This act, however, was the spark that ignited the devastating 30 Years' War. The war was catastrophic for the Czech lands. The decisive Battle of White Mountain in 1620 ended in a crushing defeat for the Czech Protestants. The Habsburgs cracked down hard. Czech nobles were executed, their lands confiscated, and Protestantism was brutally suppressed. German became the official language, and the country was forcibly For the next 2 centuries, Czech culture and language went into a period of decline, often referred to as the Dark Ages. It seemed as though the Czech national spirit might be extinguished forever, but it wasn't. In the late 18th and 19th centuries, something remarkable happened. The Czech national revival. A new generation of scholars, writers, and musicians began a conscious effort to resurrect the Czech language and culture. Figures like Josef Dobrovsk and Josef Jungmann standardized the language and compiled massive dictionaries. Composers like Bedřich Smetana and Antonín Dvořák wove Czech folk melodies into their world-famous classical music, stirring a sense of national pride. Theaters began performing plays in Czech, and a vibrant national consciousness was reborn from the ashes. This cultural revival soon turned political. As the 19th century wore on, Czechs began demanding more autonomy within the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The outbreak of World War I provided the opportunity they needed. While Czech soldiers were forced to fight for the Habsburgs, leaders like Toma Garik, Masaryk, Edvard Beneš, and Milan Rostislav Stefanik were abroad, tirelessly campaigning for an independent state. With the collapse of the Austro-Hungarian Empire in 1918, their dream became a reality. On October 28, 1918, the independent nation of Czechoslovakia was born, uniting Czechs and Slovaks into a new democratic republic. Masaryk became its first and much-loved president. The interwar period was a time of great prosperity and cultural vibrancy for the First Republic. Czechoslovakia became one of the most industrialized and democratic nations in Europe. But this success was tragically short-lived. The rise of Nazi Germany cast a dark shadow over the continent. In 1938, under the infamous Munich Agreement, Britain and France sacrificed Czechoslovakia to appease Hitler, allowing him to annex the German-speaking border region known as the Sudetenland. The Czechs felt utterly betrayed. 6 months later, in March 1939, German troops marched into Prague, and the country ceased to exist, absorbed into the Third Reich. The brutal Nazi occupation lasted for 6 long years. After World War II ended in 1945, Czechoslovakia was liberated, but freedom was fleeting. The country fell under the influence of the Soviet Union. In February 1948, the Communist Party seized power in a coup d'etat, and Czechoslovakia became a satellite state behind the Iron Curtain. Decades of totalitarian rule followed, marked by political purges, economic stagnation, and the suppression of basic human rights. Yet, the Czech spirit of defiance flickered once more. In 1968, a reformist leader named Alexander Dubček came to power and initiated a period of liberalization known as the Prague Spring. He sought to create socialism with a human face, easing censorship and allowing for greater freedom. For a few brief, hopeful months, it seemed like change was possible. But the dream was crushed on August 21st, 1968, when tanks from the Soviet Union and other Warsaw Pact nations rolled into Prague to put an end to the reforms. The occupation led to a harsh period of normalization, another dark chapter of oppression. The final act of this long struggle came 2 decades later. In November 1989, inspired by the fall of the Berlin Wall and protests across Eastern Europe, students began a peaceful demonstration in Prague. When the demonstration was brutally suppressed by riot police, it sparked a nationwide outcry. Hundreds of thousands of people filled the streets, day after day, jingling their keys to symbolize the end of the regime. Within weeks, the communist government collapsed, without a single shot being fired. This remarkably peaceful transition became known as the Velvet Revolution. Václav Havel, a playwright and dissident who had been imprisoned by the communists, was elected president. Just a few years later, in 1993, the country underwent another peaceful transition. Due to growing political and cultural differences, Czech and Slovak leaders agreed to separate. On January 1st, 1993, the Czech Republic and Slovakia were born, an event often called the Velvet Divorce. Since then, the Czech Republic has thrived. It joined NATO in 1999 and the European Union in 2004, firmly anchoring itself in the community of Western democracies. And that brings us to today. The history of the Czech Republic is a powerful story of survival. It's a testament to the resilience of a people who, through golden ages and dark times, through imperial rule and foreign occupation, have always held on to their unique culture, language, and identity. From the legendary Czech to the Velvet Revolution, it has a history that is etched into every stone of Prague's stunning architecture and lives on in the spirit of its people. Thanks so much for joining us on this historical journey. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the stories that have shaped our world. Let us know in the comments which country's history you'd like us to explore next. Until then, see you next time.